Hello everyone, welcome back. So I'm fresh off of my lighter build, and I had a couple things left over from that, the rod and some of the little parts. So I decided I was going to make, like the title says, a gas candle. I mean, for lack of a better term, I don't know what to call it. I mean, basically it's going to be like the body of the lighter, except it's not going to have a striker. And the theory behind this is you have it as an emergency. You have a Bic lighter, which everyone should have if you're out in the woods in a survival situation. And let's just say for some reason the fluid ran out, okay? And it's damp conditions and you can't get a good flame going and it keeps going out, keeps going out, keeps going out. So to have one of these that you be able to have a wick in and lighter fluid, and to be able to light that and have a sustained flame, I think would be very advantageous. So we're going to make that today, and a lot of this is going to be repeat of the lighter build, but it'll be, longer and without the striker. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut this to about 3 inches. That's just about the length of a wick. Okay, then we're going to take this, which is brass threaded rod. Okay, we're going to drill a hole down the middle and we're going to chamfer that. Okay, then we have this nut which is going to be on the end, so we're going to round that off, this acorn nut. I'll just give you a quick overview. And then we have a cap for the bottom, so we're going to have to cut this about yo long, fit that into the bottom so that the cap could go on. And then we're going to grind this acorn nut down that happens to be brass. We're going to grind that down, we're going to cut off this top, and we're going to fit this in here so that our top can screw in, this brass bolt could screw in, and we'll cut that off, and that's where the wick will stick out. So that's just a quick overview. I'll bring you back as I do each step. So the first step, like I said, I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this to about 3 inches. Okay, so we have our tube cut to about 3 inches. Plenty of room for the wick. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut a little piece off of the end of this so that our cap could go on, and it'll fit in the end of here. So again, just using a hacksaw to cut it off. I won't bore you watching me cut it with a hacksaw. So let me get at that and I'll be back. Okay, so I cut off a little piece and that'll fit right in the end there. And then our cap will go on here like this. And that'll be the bottom. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to JB weld this in, and then I'll be back when that's dry. Okay, so we have that JB welded into the end. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to grind this down and cut this little cap off so it fits in here. Okay, and the way we're going to do that is just have a cut off piece of bolt. We're going to screw this onto the end. Then we're going to put this in a drill and do it on the belt sander. And I'll give you a couple glimpses of that. Alright, so I have it in the drill, and I'm going to do it on the slack part of the belt where there's no platen behind it. Okay, that made quick work of that. Alright, so I have that all ground down, came out good. Slips right in the end here. I'm not going to push it all the way in because I'll do that when I solder it so it's nice and tight. Next thing we have to do is we have to drill a hole in the end of this brass bolt and then just cut the end off. So I'll just use the drill press, drill a little hole, and then I'll cut it off and I'll bring it back. Alright, so I have it cut off. Got a little hole in the middle, just did a little chamfer on top. Then this is going to screw into here. And then this whole thing is going to go into there. And then basically when we put the caps on, it's pretty much done. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to press this in and we're going to solder this in. So I'll bring you over to the bench and I'll show you how I solder it in. Alright, so I just have a little soldering iron, little torch, and we just have it in a vise with a little piece of leather in it. And I'm just going to use regular flux core solder. Alright, so you get the idea. I'll let that cool off and I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, so we got that soldered in and cleaned up. Next thing we got to do is take this acorn nut and do the same thing we did with that insert on the belt sander to get this to go on there. Okay, JB Weld is set up. So here's the cap on the bottom. And that's what she's going to look like. So let me finish rounding this up, make this nice and smooth. I'll polish this and we'll get a wick in there and some cotton and we'll load it up and try it out. Alright, so here it is. Looks like a bullet or a round. I'm loving the way it came out. So let's unscrew the cap and the base. So let's get the wick in. Hopefully it fits as I make the hole pretty tight. And there it is, sticking out the bottom. I just have a little chopstick there. We're going to start to put our cotton in. It doesn't all blow away on me. Alright, I'm not going to bore you watching me stuff that. I'll finish stuffing it. I'll be right back. We got it stuffed. I left a little room so when I pour the fluid in, it doesn't come out all over me like it always does. Like I said in my lighter video, yeah, I'm notorious for overfilling these. So I'm going to let this soak in, and then we're going to try some methods of lighting this. So I'll be right back. Alright, so we have it charged up. Let's say our first test is we have a match. You know, sometimes matches don't stay lit. Maybe it's your last match. We know this is going to work. Boom. Second test is going to be a lighter. We'll pretend this lighter doesn't have any fuel, even though it does. So I'm going to try to just throw a spark with the, there you go. Perfect. Let's try that again. Just the spark. There you go. So this will work if you have an empty lighter. Okay, now let's try a couple more trickier things. Let's get a ferro rod. Let me get something to cover this because the ferro rod burns this up. Alright, so I have a ferro rod. See if I could put this down and not shake the camera too much. Let's see if we can get this lit. Woo. There you go. So ferro rod works. So I think it's a useful item to have with you. You could probably do it with a flint and steel and some chalk cloth. That'll be a little tricky, but I'm sure it's possible. And you know, same thing with a bow drill or whatever type of ember you get, you could probably light that. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to make a striker part, like on the lighter, separate, because that's another great item to have. You can use it to light this, obviously. You might say, well, why not put both of them together? Well, again, it's just alternative ways of making fire. And that little striker with a flint could be used to light chalk cloth or, you know, some punk wood or, you know, other items like that. So just some alternatives. So thanks everyone for watching. You know, I appreciate your views. I appreciate your comments. And I hope you all are having a great day. And we'll catch you on the next one.